to the NACA American Dream Program. Each week, we'll talk about how NACA is revolutionizing mortgage lending with the best mortgage in America. It's no down payment, no closing cost or fees, no PMI, no consideration of your credit score. And guess what? It's at a below market fixed rate. NACA's just relentless. This is the NACA way.
Hey, NACA family, welcome to another episode of NACA's American Dream podcast. I'm your guest host today, Jerome Washington, and I'll be modest and tell you a little bit about myself, just so you know that I know the NACA program inside out. Also, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm not a counselor. I'm a real estate professional with NACA, so I will give you some general answers to your questions about the NACA program. I've been with the NACA program for 5 years, working with members. I'm a real estate broker, licensed in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. I also have been on this podcast a few times. I have a NACA ID. That means I'm a member too. So today I'm filling in for Damian Smith, who is great. He always has me laughing whenever I see him, as well as the mistress of ceremony, Anjanette Thibodeau, who is so talented that I think she should be doing TV interviews. They both are great. I look forward to working with them again on the show. I have a lot of information for you today. So much to share. You will be informed after this podcast is over. I'm the one-man gang. That means I got to try and keep you entertained. I'll be providing answers to popular questions today that you've sent in to us. Not to mention, I'm going to give you an update about the real estate market nationally, as well as in my region for New Jersey, PA, and Delaware. And the last thing that I'll be giving you is motivation. We'll be talking about so much stuff that you're going to be motivated to get started or get moving in the NACA program. So let's begin with the housing market. It's good news about the housing market. Everything's getting better. More homes are going under contract. For the last 2 months, that's increased. That's a good sign. Homes are not selling for over list price as much. The average is slightly under. That's progress. Agents are not laughing at me when I try and get seller's assist for my buyers. That means we can get some interest rate buy down using seller's assist. So I told you there's good news in the market. The median sale price is lower too. Inventory staying on the market longer. That means the house isn't just going away that weekend. So you have better chance at winning houses. The bidding wars aren't as bad. It was bad before. You would just go see a house, try to put in an offer, and it was like 17 other people. Now I might have 2 or 3 people that you got to compete against. So I like that part of the market that is not as competitive. I also like the fact that I don't have to offer up always guaranteeing covering the appraised value when we offer more than ask. A lot of times you got to break that tool out just to try and win a house, but it's not that serious right now like it was last year. You see this progress, and they call this a rebalancing of the market. Now, I'm not crazy. I didn't forget what it was like last year when everything was about 3%. This time last year, the interest rate was about 3%, and it was a frenzy. People were refinancing, people trying to buy houses, but it was just so competitive. There's one thing you got to understand, though. Despite the higher rates nationally, NACA still is 1% lower than the average market rate. 1% lower for priority buyers. So that's good news as well. Now, let's talk about my local market. I'm going to talk about New Jersey first. New Jersey, in North Jersey, It's a little bit busier still up there. Homes are still going for over list price. The further south you go, the better it is. It's not as expensive and also just not as competitive. Now, the Philadelphia market, here's what you have to understand about that. The hottest place to buy in the Philadelphia market right now is like the northeast section of Philly. However, that is a little bit difficult because of the census tract and for non-priority buyers. The better option, which is another hot market, is Northwest Philadelphia, West Oak Lane, Mount Airy, Germantown. Those areas are excellent for priority and non-priority buyers. So that is where everything's hot at right now. Now for Delaware, when I work with buyers in Delaware, everybody wants to be close to Philly because they work maybe in the Philadelphia area, so they don't want to get too deep into Delaware. But the thing about Delaware is the deeper you go, the lower the taxes. And it's a little bit easier to win. So I have a lot of people right now shopping in Dover, Delaware, and we're winning homes, especially there. So I hinted that we had questions to answer, and that's what I'm going to get ready to do right now. You've sent in questions, and we received them. And this is one of the opportunities that I'm going to do to address your questions. Let's start off with the first question, which is, what is the catch? Is NACA really no money down? So let's understand this. You are responsible for the taxes at closing, your homeowner's insurance premium, any inspections, and sometimes you might have miscellaneous items like HOA fees that are due or additional insurances like flood insurance coverage. So basically, what it all boils down to is you don't need much money. And if you're in a low tax area, then you definitely will not have to bring as much money to closing. So I'm going to break down the taxes. Some places the taxes are quarterly, so may not be as much. You may be paying more taxes sometimes if you're in an area that once prorated to the end of the year and you're buying in like January. But think about it. If you're buying in like October, might not have to bring as much. So the taxes affect how much you're going to bring to closing. The homeowner's insurance, shop around because the annual insurance premium could be $1,000. And as well as if you're in an HOA community, don't forget that. Or it gets a little bit more expensive if you're in a flood zone. So just want to make sure everybody understands that. But definitely, you don't need much money to buy in the NACA program. Next question is, who qualifies for the NACA program? Well, you can't own another property. At the time of closing, you cannot own another property. It's not for investors. So there are one-off situations like if you inherited a home with no mortgage, you own some land, timeshare. If you own a mobile home, that's not considered real estate, that's more titled as a vehicle. If you have a property in another country that has a mortgage, that also is something. It has to be in another country and not have a mortgage. Now, you have to stay in the home for the life of the loan. You can volunteer as well. We want you to volunteer at least 5 times a year. That means that here are options. Give testimony at one of the workshops. Reach out to your local office to see if they need any help administratively. I know they're giving credit for social media posts. Become an activist. Join and be a part of the community, whatever demonstrations or anything that's needed for the NACA program to spread the word. So there's different options that you can do. It's not just one thing to get your volunteering in, which is 5 times a year for the life of the loan. What about voter registration? You have to be registered to vote where it's legally permissible, meaning we understand there are situations like incarceration or religious belief that you may not be registered to vote. Now, I'm going to break these items down real simple. I'm not going to get too into detail, but what qualifies you for the NACA program? Steady income for 24 months. And that income could be SSI, child support, and also if you're self-employed, that's okay as well. You know if you got some collections. That helps you get qualified much quicker if you do not have collections. So no collections within the past 24 months is helpful, but speak to your counselor in regards to details about repayment if that's needed, because I'm not going to tell you, I'm not a counselor, but I know that they can answer and advise you accordingly. What about no liens or judgments? If you have any liens or judgments, that could delay your qualification. So if you know you don't have either of those, it's looking good to get qualified sooner than later. Don't count yourself out if you have student loan debt. So many people say, oh, I can't buy a house because of student loan debt. Speak to your counselor and they will explain to you the details and how that's accounted for in your debt to income. So definitely don't count yourself out because you have student loans. There's something called minimum required funds. That's basically when they look at how much money you have saved that can go toward the items that you need to close. Now, when you get under contract, you have to put money down. It could be $1,000, it's whatever's negotiated. So many people see documented, I think in one of the workbooks, $1,000, they think that's what they're putting down. It's negotiable. But whatever that amount is, you definitely need to make sure you have it in the bank when you're negotiating that. So earnest money deposit is basically when, if everybody would be getting under contract, if you didn't put money down, it has to hurt. So that's why they ask for earnest money deposit. It has to hurt a little bit, something that you can't walk away from. So that's one of the things that are accounted for in your minimum required funds. And I caution you because it could change if you change what area you're buying, because another factor are the taxes. As I mentioned before, how are they escrowed? Do you gotta pay the taxes prorated to the end of the year? Are they quarterly? That's a big factor because let's just give an example in my region. In the city of Philadelphia, taxes are way lower. It could be under 2,500, but directly next to Philadelphia is a county that escrows a lot of taxes, Montgomery County. Some of those houses are $7,000. And every bit of that you might need at closing. So where you're buying is a major factor in the amount of taxes you have to bring. Also, your inspections. You're required to pay for your inspections. Your home and termite are mandatory. If you want to get radon and other different inspections, then yes, get them. That's part of your due diligence, but that is what you also need the money for. And your homeowner's insurance is part of that minimum required funds. And I mentioned before, that's the annual premium. Could be like $1,000. You know, the bigger the house, the bigger the premium. Especially when in relation to the sales price. What about those people out there that want to be a landlord? If you want to be a landlord and you're buying a multifamily property, one thing you have to keep in mind is you need the reserves. That means that even after you close, you need to demonstrate that you have a certain amount of savings because you're a landlord now. Anything could happen at that building. And you need to make sure that you have the money. What if you're not getting one of your units rented out? You still need the money to contribute towards your mortgage. So that is also one of the requirements. And you can speak to your counselor in regards to where you qualify for a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or a 4-unit. And there's different amount of reserves that are related to the number of units that you're going to have at your property. So let's see what this other question is. How long is the process to buy a home? Now, that varies based off of your motivation and your readiness to buy. Everybody has a different timetable. So let's go over the timetable. You guys sign up for a workshop. You attend our workshop, 4 hours, get your NACA ID, and then you can start gathering all your documents. You start gathering all your documents, and when you upload everything that's required, you'll have the ability to schedule to see a counselor. So look at it there. How long does it take you from the homebuyer workshop to get everything uploaded? There could be your delay plus whatever time it takes to see the counselor. Could it be 3 months out the appointments are booking? So the sooner you gather your documents and schedule an appointment, the quicker your process will be. Now, when you see a counselor, one of two things are going to happen. You're going to get qualified after they send you to underwriting because you met a lot of that criteria I spoke about earlier. Or you might get an action plan. And an action plan is saying, we can't qualify you now, but if you do this, we can get you qualified. I like to quote one of our former office directors in Philadelphia, Deborah White. She says, NACA will never say no. They will just say not now and tell you how to get qualified. So always remember that. Follow through on the action plan if you are given one. And once you are qualified, you're on a home search. It might take 2 months to buy a house. You might not get one instantly out the gate once you're qualified. And then it's going to be, once you find a house, about 45 days to close. So if you look at that whole process, it could take, if you hurry up from the second that you got to the workshop and got all your docs in, if it took you, let's just say on average, 90 days to see a counselor. You had your 90 days to see a counselor, and let's say you did what you were supposed to do, and you got qualified, and your home search, it didn't happen quickly. Let's just say 6 weeks. 6 weeks to get under contract. So you had 90 days to get to see a counselor. Took you another 6 weeks or so to find a house, and then you needed 45 days to close. That's kind of like just a little quick example. If you add up the time, what your NACA journey could be. But if you have an action plan, it could be a little longer. And all you have to do is work the action plan no matter what. You're on the action plan, everybody. Make sure you're working the plan, not sitting still. Here's a question. Can I work with my own real estate agent? Yes, you can. You can work with your agent. But if your agent has no experience with the NACA program, we have resources available. And one of the most important resources, and nearly the first thing they need to do, is attend every Tuesday from 12 to 2, the Red Introduction. It's a webinar off of NACA.com you can sign up for. I assist Robert Torres every Tuesday with this, and we get new agents all the time inquiring. There is an additional webinar that Robert Torres offers on Friday that we'll give you information for, and that's for more of a follow-up with one-on-one questions. So, of course, NACA has an in-house real estate team. We would love for you to work with our team. And one of the best things about working with our team is we have access to all the NACA resources, all the training. One thing that saves a lot of time is when you need to speak to a counselor, we can not just be your agent, an advocate to help get them on the phone, get to them faster. So working with the in-house team, we're experienced with the product. We have all the access, so that helps out a lot. And in areas that we don't cover, there are referral agents. They're not actual in-house agents, but referral agents that are experienced with the process and can assist you. Listen, we would love for you to work with in-house agent, but no matter what you do, work with someone that is experienced, that's been there before. I know some people get their first NACA deal and then they got to go from there, but it really helps with having experience. NACA is a specialty. And if you really want a smooth process and be led through the process, be proactive, not reactive, definitely work with someone that's been there before. So, next question, or actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over some discussion topics. And these topics, I just want to share with everybody. So, no matter where you are in the NACA process, you have to catch the NACA fever. And what is that? I know everybody's saying, what's this NACA fever? Let me explain to you. You need to be motivated. Whether you haven't attended a workshop yet, or you attended a workshop, or if you've seen a counselor, if you're working in an action plan, wherever you are in the process, you need to be motivated. You have to get the NACA fever. And that's what I call NACA fever, just being motivated. Now that you have the NACA fever, let's just assume you got it. You got to be contagious. What I mean by being contagious, spread the word. I want you to spread the word. There are so many people that I see after workshops, family, co-workers, they're signing up for workshops or calling me. So you got to be contagious. Spread the good word. Now that you're spreading the good word, you got to follow through on your action. That means you got to be a testimony and show progress and complete it all the way to be a homeowner. That's what I'm talking about with having the NACA fever, being contagious, and as well as being a testimony. Be the example. You know what I call it? I'm famous for making up different words with NACA in it. We are in the midst of a NACademic. That's why I want to see a NACademic. I want to see the NACA fever, everybody being contagious, and being a testimony, following everything through all the way to closing. One other thing is, so many people attend the workshop and they do what I call, they check out. And that's what I don't want you to do, is check out. And when I say check out, that means that you heard something at the workshop, you don't feel like you qualify, you see an obstacle, so it delays you from moving further. You heard something about NACA and didn't bother going to the workshop. You're counseling yourself. Leave that to the counselors. The best thing you can do is show up, make progress, be advised, get on the action plan. But no matter what, don't check out. That's what I really want everybody to understand. And I hope this reaches somebody, because do something today to get you closer to home ownership. You're hearing me talk, just don't check out. So, about this NACA fever that I have, I'm going to explain to you how I'm experiencing it firsthand. I'm gaining more exposure on social media, sharing a lot of information. One thing that I want everybody to look out for off of the NACA social media will be a new construction opportunity. It's a really heartfelt story and post of a family that's excited over a pile of dirt. They're going to be homeowners in like 7 months. And we went out and took some pictures and video at dirt that's going to be their home. And I couldn't be more excited for them, because they're using the NACA program and they're not going to need much money at all. So sharing that information, I really want everybody to see it and get motivated. So be on the lookout for that. I also have been posting more closings. I want to get better at it. And we're going to be doing more of our closings on my real estate team, especially. And I encourage everybody else. This is part of the NACA Fever. Other agents, I'm talking to you. Let's get that information posted so people can see it and be motivated. Another thing that's happening to me is I'm doing more podcasts. I was featured this past weekend. I taped on a podcast that's going to drop in a week or so. It was with Grind, Hustle, Then Live. Now, these brothers are amazing. They attended a NACA workshop, heard me speak. They got the NACA fever now because they want to bring me on their podcast, and I'm sharing the NACA program. And that's just a blessing because these brothers are great. What they're doing and the message that they're giving out to people, I want to make sure that you follow these guys. Grind, Hustle, Then Live. Look for them on Instagram and YouTube. And I am extremely thankful for the opportunity to be on their platform to share about the NACA program and be able to bring awareness. So much appreciated, fellas. Now, also, I'm going to be on some new podcasts coming up. I have a schedule of podcasts. It's all part of this NACA fever, just spreading the word. So I'm just happy to be able to be exposed and be someone that can spread the word. Just like me here today. I'm here today on this podcast. So more people I see reaching out to me on DMs, signing up online at the website. And I just start hearing more from people after home buyers workshops and when I speak. So it's just great to see that it's catching on and people are spreading the word. So you've heard me talking. I want to share my social media with you. If you want to follow me on social media, that goes for everybody. At NACA Dream Team. I can't do it myself. I have a excellent team that is working with me, and they help me cover the region. I'm leading them. They're mentored by me, but the NACA Dream Team, we're really making some noise in our region, and what we're sharing can help you regardless of where you live. If you just want to get motivated and see what's going on, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at NACA Dream Team. That's where we are. Now, if you are in my region, I would love for you to work with us, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Sign up at NACADreamTeam.com, and we can start being an advocate for you as well, getting you moving through the process. We would love to see you, not when you're qualified, but sooner than that, so we can put together a plan so you hit the ground running when you're qualified. Now, also, everyone, I'm so proud of this. People that have come to work with me, over 200 NACA closings I have. So that should show you I have plenty of experience. I'm so proud of it. I just love thinking back for everyone that I was able to help their homeownership dreams come true. And there's so many more to come. And that's why I'm appreciative of this platform, so that this way you know about me and I can assist you. Now, also, here's the thing. If I'm motivating you, I would love to know that. I would love for you to comment if you're motivated, if you're going to do something when you're watching this to get you closer to home ownership. Please share that. That only motivates me to talk and find other options and opportunities to share that information. So I really want you to think long and hard about everything I said. I want you to catch the NACA fever. I want you to be contagious. I want you to work through all the way to be a testimony. And I'm Jerome Washington. That's my time. And as always, remember, work with Jerome to own a home.